Alright, so that poll low-key surprised me, but also I needed to remind myself how one of the videos is very, by the title, it's very ambiguous. The other one is more, if you really know me, you want to know. And then the other one, my theory I'd already, kind of teased that beforehand. But I'm also surprised that that was the runner-up. But this one, I should have expected it, but I didn't. But to win, but whatever. But yeah, I think the reason why I didn't expect it was because I felt like I kind of explained it, but also no and yes. The reason, if you guys go back on my catalog, there's a video called Why I Deactivated My Twitter Account. That is partially the same reasons as to why I no longer use Kane as a main Fursona. But again, it's quite an older video, and I stopped using Kane a bit later after that, so whatever. So if you watch that video, you're gonna see some reoccurring stuff. But yeah, first of all, let me just say, Kane is not gone. He's still around. I still love him to death. My only problem is I have bad associations in terms of when I used him heavily. I used him heavily from the ages of 17 to about 19, 20. To give reference, now I'm 22. So it's been a while. It's been a minute, you know. So I created Kane when I was 15. At the time, heavily socially anxious. I was in the closet about being trans. I was still in school, and I was pondering about my future. I didn't know what I was doing. Still kind of don't know what I'm doing, but whatever. At that time, I was looking to go to a different type of college than what I'm in now. Not that that's bad or anything. It's just more of, wow, I've grown a lot from that, right? Kane started off as an aspirational character because, again, I was going through a lot at the time. I was getting bullied. My anxiety disorder had basically taken over my life. I didn't feel like there was a future for me around that time. Then TY happened when I was 16, and TY really helped me overcome a lot of those challenges. I did work experience, I was in the musical, and that made me got into theater, which majorly helped with my confidence, how that's even influencing me now with doing performance art, now in college, and many other things. In TY, I just can't remember. I did work experience, and I thought I'd never be able to hold down a job. I worked in fast food for a year and a half before I had to leave because they wouldn't listen to my availability. You know, so I've grown a lot since then. I also worked in a retail job for about a month because it was a Christmas term job. So I've grown a lot since then. So Kane was originally that for me, and then I slowly kind of turned into him in a sense with getting more confidence and that sort of thing. My only thing is that Kane is at the time was a very edgy character. And I think one of the things that I unfortunately inherited from Kane, I guess, that kind of sounds a bit weird, but for lack of a better word, is almost his distrust towards people. Again, I've only been open about this recently, but I'm 100% sure I'm autistic and also have ADHD. And I grew up undiagnosed, and me and my therapist have talked about it. They're like, yeah, you're showing major signs. And but at the same time, getting a diagnosis is just a bunch of money. It's over $1,000, and then just to pay $1,000 and then get nothing in return from it. Yeah, it doesn't seem really worth it in my opinion. There's no supports. So that's why I'm there's no point in me getting diagnosed. So, but I show major signs of autism and ADHD. And so growing up was very difficult in terms of socially. And Kane, at the time of around 17 to 19, when I was using Kane heavily, one, I can never tell when people are joking with me, and that unfortunately got me into trouble a few times, because sometimes people would be joking with me, and I thought they were being serious, and I would end up not being very nice, and then people would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I can't read tone. Another thing is my big sense of justice, which is very heavy throughout my my old Twitter account and my older videos, you know what I mean? My sense of justice was very extreme, and still is to a certain extent. I wouldn't say it's very, very extreme now. I still have a strong sense of justice, but back then it was like into overdrive, and I feel like a big part of that was just because of the whole furry fandom savior paradox, which, you know, I've already made a video about that. You guys can go watch it. And that was one of the reasons I made that video. I wanted to kind of talk about that because there's unfortunately a lot of people who fall into it, and I just kind of wanted to explain why it was dumb and why I no longer believe in it. I still think that content is important. I just feel like how it's presented should be more professional and less used as a way to make yourself feel better about yourself. Because I see that a lot, and I'm like, grow up. Like, genuinely, like, grow up. And I also look back how I was also extremely immature, and just, I mean, don't get me wrong, some things were definitely funny, like me telling Kenny Lupine because he said something like transphobic towards me, because I made a tweet about free for all, and I basically told him, oh man, I would listen to you, but I've had major sex with your mother. Like, genuinely, that shit was funny, you know? But then there's other things, and I'm just like, that's just so immature and gross. And I can't help but, Foggy, please don't step on my sprained leg. Thank you. Sorry, my cat I sprained my foot, and my cat just decided to step on it. I love you, Foggy, but please, don't do that. Anyway, it's driving me crazy, because I feel like all my animals know that I'm in severe pain and are deciding just to stand on my sore foot. And I'm like, please stop it. Especially because Rocco does it intentionally. I love you. I know you didn't mean it, okay? You're not like Rocco who purposely steps on your foot. Okay, I love you. Anyway, I just see his little eyes staring at me. He's like, don't yell at me. Like, but I can't help but have that really bad association with immaturity and Kane. Because I definitely know that a lot of people in the Irish community didn't like me for that reason, that I was very immature and just needed to take it down a few notches, you know what I mean? And now I feel like I have a better relationship with the Irish furry community, thank God. But another thing is my association with certain people. Some of the people I surrounded myself with during the whole Kane the Startle arc, a lot of them which I do not talk to anymore. I don't talk to them anymore. There's a few people who I still talk to and I love and I respect. There's some people who I don't talk to who I still love and respect. But a lot of them I don't talk to them anymore. For the main reasons of I don't like the things that they do. They've hurt me in the past, or I genuinely just I've never liked them, you know, and I just decided to cut ties. And I just genuinely sometimes I can't help it. When people see Kane, they see the old people who I used to associate with, and I'm like, and so I just kind of, it's not that I don't want to publicize Kane anymore, it's just more of, I think his older designs really, you know, have that connotation to me. His newer design, absolutely not. I feel like I've changed him enough to the point where, like, he's just, he feels like an entirely different character, but he's not. I feel like I made a good balance of, yes, this is the same character you know and love, but here's him with, like, a new twist, you know? And I think that's, good that I'm still able to enjoy the character. He's also changed a lot. He's not that edgy little fucker anymore. I mean, he still has that kind of playful personality. Like, the best way I can describe him, he's basically Sonic. My friend Dylan is gonna be fucking going mad. But he's basically like Sonic. He has that, you know, sarcastic 90s type attitude, that sort of way. I would say, Kruger's like the Shadow the Hedgehog of the Kane story, except less edgy and more just like Geralt from The Witcher. Actually, Geralt from The Witcher is actually a major inspiration for Kruger. I'm sorry, I'm going off. But that's kind of like, it's not that I don't love Kane anymore, because that's not true at all. I know a lot of people who be like, oh my god, I hate my old Sona, it's so gross, blah 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 blah, or whatever, or they've just completely detached from it completely. Kane, I have not detached from. It's not that I've detached from him, I just don't. I still have a lot of online stuff. Like, I still draw him. Like, I still love drawing him, I still love him. I just don't use him as my main Fursona anymore because I don't want people to think about how I used to be, because I'm not that person anymore. I'm a lot more chill, reserved. I've talked about this a lot, but I don't know how else to explain it, and it's gonna be really weird. Hopefully I make sense. Have y'all ever felt like the brain, the chemicals in your brain like change, and all of a sudden you're just more chill? Hopefully that makes sense. You just kind of stop caring less. Now that I think about it, I wonder if this happened right after I had those edibles in Amsterdam. But anyway, basically that, you know, I became more chill, and I just stopped caring as much. And I mean, that's been great in a lot of senses. But that's kind of just what happened to me, and I just kind of started looking back, and I was just kind of like, oh god, no wonder no one liked me. Like, I guess I just grew up, you know. I'm not saying that I'm completely grown up, like, there's still, like, a lot of things I need to work on. It's just, I changed, and I just don't want my old association to be attached when people see that Fursona, and I feel like that Fursona has a lot of that, just because of how edgy Kane was, and because I matched that. It's kind of, you know, at least with his old designs. His new design, not so much, but yeah, and that's why I use Lorcan, and also because Lorcan's a true Sona. And Kruger, he's also really important to me. But I'm gonna explain that in a separate video, because Kruger, again, is a fursuit and is also a character. Also, my other character, Gigi, but that's gonna be a separate video. But yes, that's the main reason I don't use Kane anymore. I'm actually surprised I never made this video sooner. But yeah, for those who wanted to know, I know it's a very long-winded video. But yeah, that's basically the whole reason why I don't use Kane anymore. So yeah, that's basically it. I don't have really nothing else much to say on that. So yeah, yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one.